Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
Oh.
All right, Gabriel. Well, just why don't you start off, describe the difference for you now compared to last year on August 3rd.
A lot more comfortable with the system, knowing the playbook, knowing what to do, being around the guys. We got a great team here, and I'm happy to for this year to go out and compete every single week. So it's a lot of confidence coming into this year.
Did you get together with any other teammates? Like, I don't know if you went to Florida with Steph, or were you out in California at all with Josh?
Yeah, we had went to Florida. We had met down in Florida for a little bit, ran some routes and did some things, just freshening it up. Went out there with Diggs. Yeah, I was out.
Josh there too, or no?
No, Josh wasn't there. But was out there with him and running some routes, cleaning up some things, trying to work on my game a little bit. And Diggs is a big help. You know, he has a different style of play than I do. So I'm always trying to, pick his brain on what he likes to do and what he does and watching what he does and being able to add that to my arsenal.
Was that Orlando or South Florida?
South Florida.
Right.
Yep.
Brian Daboll said you're a pro. Have you always been where he's responsible and ready to go and prepared that way? Has that always been, or is that something you've learned how to be as you've gotten far along?
I feel like I've always been like that since I was 9 years old, started playing the game. I always felt like I was responsible and ready to go. But what really stepped it up was I went to Tom Shaw Performance out in Orlando in high school, and I was around Dak, Saquon, Derrick Henry, those type of guys, Bruce Irvin, and seeing the way they trained and got ready for the game. And, picked their brains too as well and seeing what they did and how they lived as pros. Just took everything from them and now I'm running with it.
And how much did that help you, especially in a year like last year when it was strange coming into the league?
It helped a lot. Seeing those guys and the success they have and the fun that they have, you want to do the same thing that they're doing, having the dream to go to the NFL and being around such dominant players in a league like that, you want to be like them as well. So you take as much as you can from them and run with it and apply it to the game.
You exceeded, 35 for 559 last year. Did that exceeded most of our expectations? Did it exceed your expectations? Somebody told you 35 catches?
I really didn't come in there with any expectation. I just said I'm just trying to be the best teammate, and whenever my number's called, to make a play and be the best out there. So never set any goals or anything on what I wanted. Just tried to keep going out there, and every time my number was called, to execute.
Is it going to be hard for you do you think it's going to be hard to play as well as you did last year?
No, I don't try to compare it from last year. I'm just trying to, again, anytime my number is called, I try to go out there and compete and play the best of my ability. I'm happy with everything that's going on right now and got a lot of learning to do still, and it's going to be a good year.
Human nature, though, how do you guard against, because those numbers do get to that. You show yourself, you prove to yourself and to everybody who watched that you can play at this level. So how do you guard against your expectations from changing or being, just going sideways in some ways?
I feel like that's our job as professional athletes, to try to get that out of your head, try to attack the task at hand, don't worry about the past. For me, it's just the opportunity is going to come, whether it's less than last year or more than last year. As long as you get on the field and execute every time you're out there, then everything else will fall right into place.
When a guy like Sanders shows up, do you pick his brain a lot, just to get as much information that you can out of a veteran like him who's been around as much as he has?
Yeah, of course. You got a guy that's been in the league as long as he has, seen a lot of things, won some Super Bowls, been a part of some great teams. When he speaks, you listen because he knows what he's talking about. So, again, once they said that Sanders was coming along, I was more than happy to have him on the team because, again, this is a team sport. We're trying to win, go big, and I feel like we can do that this year with the team that we have.
I had a chance to talk to Brian Daboll yesterday. He made the comment about how well you know the playbook and he can just grab you off the sideline and put you in any of the receiver spots. How much pride do you put in maybe knowing the playbook better than any receiver?
Again, you see the guys that are out there. You see the talent that we have, the vet guys that have been out there for years. You have to make yourself available the best way possible, and the best way is to know every single position, be able to back up any of those guys if they go out. It was just to make sure that I had no excuses on why I couldn't get on in that field, and I knew everything to do and was available.
what you were 216 listed last year. What do you know?
I'm still 215. Actually, last year I played more like 219, 220. I was more on the higher range, getting to Buffalo and playing. As you guys saw, I was doing coming in on insert and some blocks and some cover zero stuff. So still be doing the same thing. Feel lighter, feel stronger.
What's an area you felt after you stepped back, season ended, and said, what's one thing you want to get better at?
Just route running. Route running, want to be able to make everything look the same, disguise every single route, being able to keep my shoulders square and be able to break off 1 foot. So that's all I've been working on.
Is it a different day when the pads come on? Is it different for everybody? You guys talk about it?
Yeah.
Or is it like...
No, you get the juice up going because the pads are on, but we've been doing this since we were all little kids. So that's what I was saying in the locker room today. It is the first day of pads, but it's been the first day of pads, for 12, 13 years for me. So.
Is that excitement?
Oh, yeah, it's always exciting because you're getting closer to play some football, some games, and go out there and compete against some other people. You go against the same guys every single week. It kind of gets a little tiring, and you're trying to go out there and go against some new people. So.
You talk about how deep this wide receiving room is. You have guys like Diggs and Sanders and Beasley. How fortunate do you feel to be able to pick their brains on a daily basis? You talk about route running, you talk about experience. How fortunate do you feel? Yeah,
they even said it last year. I don't know how lucky I am to be a part of a team like this with the guys that I have in the receiver room and as a whole, obviously. But, I see it and I take advantage of it the best way I can. And, again, couldn't be in a better position.
Gabriel, how would you describe your demeanor out on the field? Because Poyer said you're like the only receiver that doesn't talk.
Yeah. I've always been about, humility. And, I can get the juice going, get up, but – I've always been super humble and always know that there's opportunity, but there's also going to be some mistakes. So just try to go out there and be the best of my ability, shut my mouth, but then when I do something, you might hear it. So
you'd rather dance than talk.
Yeah. End of the great play, I'll do something.
We're talking a lot about what you're able to do in terms of Sanders, Diggs, and Beasley, get knowledge from them. How much does a guy like Isaiah Hodgins, who you said you've been close with, how much does he kind of look to you because of the success that you had and how many reps you had last year to kind of pick your brain?
Yeah, sure. I mean, me and Isaiah even help each other. He's another guy that, again, he got hurt last year, so he really didn't get to do anything, but he knows the playbook just as good as me. He was available and gets in at different spots everywhere. So he's another guy that, again, he'll pick their brains up, help me out, I'll help him out. So we both do it back and forth.
You ran 4.54 at the UCF Pro Day. We have no NFL player trains to run the 40 after that day. But I mean, after a year in an NFL strength and conditioning program, could you run 4.54? Are you faster than that? What is that
I feel like the 40 is just, it's just the 40 at the end of the day. I feel like my game speed, a lot of guys can run a 4.2, but can they run a 4.2 running routes? And I feel like that's the difference to me is when I run my 5.4, I can run a 5.4, and I can actually run my routes at that speed. So I feel like it's pretty right when it comes to doing that.
Obviously, a couple of your biggest highlights were the Indy game, those sideline plays, which you don't win that game without those plays and a bunch of others. But I mean, that does kind of seem like a sign that you really, it's a scramble drill, but you're on the same page as Josh. What do you, when you look down that,
Yeah, Josh is a playmaker, and those are his best moments. So I knew that once he started rolling out every single time, I knew if I can just get into his vision, I know he can put the ball right where it needs to be, and he did it every single time.
Is there more of a sign, like when you got a guy like Josh, how much is that scripted? Okay, on this play, and Josh breaks because he could break out at any moment. This is exactly how we're going to break off our scramble drill.
Yeah, exactly. We have certain ways, and we practice the ways on where people are going to be in certain zones and deep players, low players, middle players. So we sort of have – Josh sort of knows where everybody's going to be once he starts rolling out, where the spots are that players will start coming running into. Good? Thank you. Yep.